Hi, today is the 4th of Shvat, and today is the yahrzeit of Rabbi Yisrael Abuchatzera, otherwise known as the Baba Sali. The Baba Sali comes from a long line of tzaddikim, holy people, that stretches all the way back to a person by the name of Rabbi Shmuel Elbaz. Now, Rabbi Shmuel Elbaz is written up in the Shem HaGedolim, the book, the Shem HaGedolim from the Chidah, the great biographer of Jewish history. And over there, the Chidah writes about him that he was a holy man and that he had great powers to intervene in heaven, and his ways were wondrous and great. So he was actually a student of Rabbi Chaim Vital. And the story goes that he was living in Jerusalem, and one time he had to go to Turkey in order to raise funds for his community. Now, when he got to the boat to go take him to Turkey, he did not have the proper amount of money in order to pay for his fare. So, as the story is written up, he unrolled a carpet, and as the boat traveled, he sat on this carpet, and the carpet floated above the waves, and this is how he went to Turkey. And in fact, this is how he came back to Eretz Yisrael, Israel as well. And that's why their name of their family was changed to Abuchatzera. Abuchatzera means the master of the carpet. I wonder if perhaps this is where the Western world has the idea of the Middle Eastern person floating on a carpet. Anyway, when he got back to Jerusalem, his tremendous feats became known, and being a modest person, he decided to move up to Syria, where he remained for the rest of his life, and that's where he's buried. The family somehow moved to Morocco over the years, and over in Morocco, they also were great leaders of the community. The Baba Sali was a very holy person right from his young ages, and in fact, one time the story goes, his son tells, that he came back home and his father saw that he had gotten into some sort of argument or something, and his father told him he has to be very careful with his mouth, because whatever comes out of his mouth is going to impact people and seal their fate. So he told them, never ever curse anyone, always look to bless everyone and find their good points and bless them with it. And he said, the Baba Sali said about himself, that he lived with this his whole life. It was known that he did all different types of things in order to make himself more and more pure, and in fact it's known that by the age of 13 he was involved in fasting from Motzei Shabbos, from Saturday night all the way to Friday, and he did this quite a number of times according to his son. And in the holy books of the Kabbalah, they say that this type of fasting is equal to 65,600 fasts. Now, there are many stories of the miracles that the Baba Sali did over his lifetime. There's literally volumes and volumes. So let me share with you one of the stories. There's a story that's written up by his Gabbai, Rabbi Alfasi, that he said that one time a person was coming in to the Baba Sali's home in Netivot, and he was making a big ruckus. He needed to bring his relative in, and he wanted to pass in front of the lines. Apparently in those times, many people would come to the Baba Sali's home and ask for blessings, and there was long lines of people, as you can imagine. But this person kept on saying he needs to bring his relative in. He's on a stretcher. So the people acquiesced, and they brought this person in on a stretcher. And the person said that the doctors had given up on him, that he was there was nothing else that they could do, and he was crying as he was telling the story. So the Baba Sali told him, gave him a blessing, and he gave him a bottle of water. Now apparently that was one of the things that Baba Sali would do. He would give people these bottles of water that were blessed, and he told them to drink it every night before he goes to sleep. Well, some 3 weeks later, this man comes back, the man that was on the stretcher, standing up, walking in, smiling, and the Gabbai greets him and tells him, tell me what has happened, tell me the story. So he says, let me tell you what happened. I went home, and I would drink the water every night, and after a day or two, all of a sudden I had a most interesting dream. The Baba Sali came to me in a dream, and he told me, he showed me a picture of a doctor, Rafael Carlos, and he told him that this is the person you should find in Tel Aviv, and he's going to heal you. So that was very interesting. He woke up, and when he woke up in the morning, he remembered the dream. So immediately he called his daughter who lived in Tel Aviv, and he said, "Do you know this Dr. Raphael?" And she said, "How do you know him?" She said, "Well, he looks like this, and he lives apparently on this street." And the daughter was like, "How do you know him? I mean, I know him because I live right near him, in fact. But how would you even know him? How could you describe him?" And the man told her, "I had a dream from the Baba Sali, and he told me to go to this doctor, and the doctor was going to heal me." So, okay, made an appointment for him to go to this doctor. He goes to the doctor's office, and the doctor says, "Oh, let me make a diagnosis. The diagnosis is that you are not in such bad shape," and he gives him a certain medicine, and within a couple of weeks, he becomes totally better. Now, Gabbai hears this, and he says, "Let me take you into the Baba Sali." As he's walking into the Baba Sali smiles at him, and he says to him, "Through dreams I'm going to speak." And he laughs, and that was the story.